We good?
Are we good? Sup, bitches? Missed you, love.
Every time I was editing, I was like, I wish I was here with her. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking.
Oh, thanks, mate. You go.
Hey guys, this is Laurie.
And this is Bryony.
And today we're gonna get back to one of your questions, which was,
I know I should warm up, but what exactly do I do?
interesting question, because let me tell you that I used to not warm up.
I warm up for like 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, you have once again the complete opposite. But I just came back from France, and let me tell you that I walked in the gym and started going straight into a set. I was like, fuck my joints. Like, it hurts. It hurts so much.
Because you were cold and not warmed up.
Because I was cold. So in France, it's like -8 degrees at the moment.
Whereas
so
what is it right now? 37?
38. That's why we shiny as. But yes, so little advice, if you live in a country where it's quite cold outside, I would start by just walking on the treadmill. It doesn't have to be crazy intensity. You can just walk flat, maybe incline it slightly, but that's not cardio.
It's like warming up is, yes, physiological, but it's also psychological. So if you're going in for like a heavy leg session, I don't know about you, but I get super anxious as fuck when I'm about to go in. I'm like, oh my god. So you have to like psych yourself up almost, but you're not gonna go straight into your heavy working sets. Like that is just calling for a disaster to happen. So you're going to, like Laurie said, warm up, maybe do 5 minutes, kind of get into the flow, put your music on, get your heart rate up.
Have a look at your program, have a look at what you've done on the previous week, so that way when you start working, you're not like, what do I need to do today? You already know.
Yeah, so you're preparing yourself for the session, essentially. Exactly. So it's not just a quick warm up, it's like mentally and physically, fucking hell, you're warming up.
And that's also when you drink your Monster. It's this 5 minutes.
Your pre-workout kicks in. But yeah, so then you could add in some mobility if you're feeling a bit stiff, if you're feeling a bit sore. If you're someone who needs to add that in, Activation is really important.
Something else that I wanted to add is that you were saying about activation. If you are someone who struggles to feel a certain muscle group, for example, personally, I've got very big glutes and I struggle to feel them. Even when I do the hip thrust, I would feel my quads and my hamstrings, but I would struggle to feel my glutes. So activate is really important. You can do some exercises with a band, you can do some clamshells, you can do some crab walk, monster walk, and you fire the muscles. So you build the connection and you're like, okay, now they're switched on. And then if you go into a hip thrust or back squat, then chances are that you will feel your glutes working a bit more.
100%. That's actually one of the main points, I would say, to make sure that the right muscles are doing the job and not just compromising and the other ones take over. Or if you've got imbalances, work on that shit before you even think about doing your heavy ones.
Oh, 100%.
And it doesn't need to take long. Like, yes, sometimes mine takes a little bit longer, but I just like to spend a little bit longer. Like I said, I mentally need to be prepared as well as physically warmed up, and then just get into the zone. But you would be focusing on like core work or mobilizing the joints and then doing like warm-up sets before your working sets.
That's why sometimes whenever I give a program to a client, they're a bit surprised because they used to do the random 4 sets everywhere, even sometimes more. And when they see my programs, sometimes there's like 2 sets, they're like, that's not enough. I feel like I haven't worked hard enough. But then, hold on, that's 2 working sets. That doesn't include your warm-up sets.
Yeah.
And a lot of people would most of the time do a warm-up set and they count this set as a set. So of course there's 4 sets total, you know what I mean? So your warm-up sets are not part of the working sets. So you might do 1 warm-up set, you might do 2, you might do 3, you might do 4. And once that you're ready to hit your proper set, that's 1 set.
And that would depend on you as well. Like, that's quite individual. Some people feel pretty switched on within like 1 or 2 warm-up sets. Let's say you're doing like an 80-kilo deadlift, for example. First and foremost, I would always just warm up, like doing the movement without anything. And then I'd go to the bar and then I'd put on like 40 kilos and then maybe go 50. And then when you get closer to your working set, you might go smaller increments, but the rep range is going to drop down. So if you've got 80 kilos by 8, you're not always going to do, 40 by 8, 50 by 8, 60, 70, like all the way up to 8. You're just going to like gradually, it's kind of like drops like this. Increase in weight, decreasing your reps, and then you're getting closer and closer and closer to your working set, so then you're actually neurologically getting yourself ready to fire, and your central nervous system is bam,
exactly
on. That's why I do it too, because it generally makes it feel a lot smoother. I think sometimes if you go straight into it, you're like, oh my god, that felt so fucking heavy. Why was that heavy today? Did you warm up? Or was it an effective warm-up? Perhaps not.
And obviously, depending on the exercises, if it's like a big compound movement, then you would want to do a few warm-up sets. But let's say it's a leg extension. If your working set is 40 kg, just do like a few reps with 20 kg, and then you can go straight into it. It's fine. But it depends on the exercises and the muscle groups involved as well.
I would say as a general rule, half the weight and half the reps. Kind of like a good way to be like, oh, okay, like you may still warm up with nothing and gradually add, but then you go, okay, cool, I'm gonna go at least half the weight, half the reps.
Exactly. Do you want to add something?
No, I think that's it. We can ramble on otherwise.